kind of crypto. How do they go about finding these proxies? Is it the miners? Is it the ETFs? Who else would it be?
Yeah, so it's going to depend on what kind of investor you are. I'd imagine there's a few different places you could go. There's IBIT, right? Which a lot of people will probably go to. There's BlackRock, they hold the Bitcoin. You're not really getting Bitcoin, but you're getting access to Bitcoin exposure.
Right.
And that's the one caveat with every single one of these proxies is all of them are Bitcoin exposure. None of them are Bitcoin.
Right.
If at some point there's a bank run or there's some situation where everyone wants their Bitcoin out, there's no situation where they can distribute it because everyone is doing this. So if there's only 21 million of these Bitcoin, you got to question either someone's lying or something's going on. But there's plenty of proxies. There's the Bitcoin miners, there's the treasuries, and
who are the Bitcoin miners?
Sure. So there's Mara, right? You've got Mara, which a lot of people recognize. You're gonna have Iron, that a lot of people recognize. CleanSpark. These are just bigger names, not affiliated or paid by any of these people.
Right.
These are just names that come up because I see them on the timeline. They're the ones that people recognize. The treasuries are like MicroStrategy, MetaPlanet from Japan, who just became literally it was like 40 cents or something, and now it's at like $10. And it's a Japanese stock that just absolutely went crazy.
Exploded.
So yeah, so the treasuries, they're a whole plan. And it's so risky at this point just because where we're at in the market with Bitcoin at 120,000, all of them buying into treasuries. They're at the simplest way to explain it, they just have Bitcoin exposure. And if you believe in Bitcoin as a long-term apex asset, then it's something you can get behind. If that's your position though, I still think as an investor, it makes more sense to hold Bitcoin. But I think if you're trying to get there and you're on the way, holding the treasuries and the miners, I think there's no problem. I don't know why there's so much hate around it.
No, I'm not sure. Well, I don't know. Maybe I'm not necessarily sure to say. But one of the things that I think is fascinating also about Bitcoin, and I would imagine a lot of young people know this, maybe my generation doesn't. You can buy Bitcoin in fractional pieces. You can take $25 and go to Coinbase and buy $25 worth of Bitcoin. A lot of people thought I need $115,000 to buy Bitcoin. You don't.
Yeah.
You can buy every week, buy $50, $100, whatever you want.
Exactly.
Which allows people to get their feet wet, get in there and try to feel it and try to play with it, right? Look, you host one of the biggest, if not the biggest, Bitcoin and kind of macro conversations on X, right? On X Spaces. You do it. Is it day? How often do you do it? Once a week?
We're doing the shows every day.
Every day.
Yeah.
And is it the same time every day?
Not the same. So we have different shows at different points in the day, but it's every single day there's some kind of show happening around market talk, Bitcoin, whatever's going on in the markets is every day. There's a daytime show and an afternoon show, typically 11 a.m. Eastern and 2 p.m., 3 p.m. Eastern.
Yeah, because it pops up on my feed. I know when you're doing it because I get the notice, right? So it pops up on my feed. And the other day I clicked in because I wanted to see for myself. I was amazed at what I saw, who was in the room, the number of people in the room, and the conversation that was going on. In any event, what's one of those macro trends that you're watching now when you in this spaces, right? What are you hearing? What are people asking you about? What do you think is really going to move the needle?
Oh man, yeah.
But what are people concerned about?
Yeah. Well, it's the same question in my head because Bitcoin is at 120 or around 110, $120,000, whatever we're recording.
I think it's 113.
Somewhere in that range, right?
Yeah.
And so for the 4-year cycle crew, we're about at the end. This is about the top. If you're not in that crew, this is the beginning. So
if you think we're about the top, tell me what you think is going to happen.
Well, I don't even have to say anything because the 4-year cycle historical data is clear. If this is the top, we're going to cycle down for about a year and then we'll be right back up, just like every other cycle.
Right. Okay.
The other, and this.
So there'll be an opportunity if that's true.
Yeah, there will be.
There'll be an opportunity for people to jump in at lower prices.
Yeah.
Very much like the stock market, right? You see the cycle in the stock market, right? So.
Well, I struggle because I love that idea. I'm so down for a bear market. I'd be so down.
Yeah.
The problem is, because I now understand the assets, so down. The problem is, all the treasuries are getting in right now. So my trend / nervous thing I'm also looking for in the future is that we've got the coolest thing ever, which is companies on Wall Street saying Bitcoin is an asset worth holding on our balance sheet. And we've even got Trump changing rules so that these kind of things can be counted towards as earnings, so you can be valued as more. So I'm glad that people see that Bitcoin is an asset worth holding. If Bitcoin can enter the category of gold, even if gold pulls back, people are still happy you hold gold because it's a treasury asset.
100%. And it's gold.
Yeah, and so my hope is that Bitcoin falls in that category.
Right.
The problem is all the treasuries got in at $120,000. So if we go down to 60K, they're down 50%. So my fear is that. My long-term thing is that no matter what happens in 10 years, we'll be laughing. But it might just be MSTR that's laughing because we're so far.
But you really think the treasuries get in at 120? You think that's where they all get in?
Well, we've seen so many of them get in around, like in these prices, we've seen a lot of newer companies start to begin their.
So you can tell when they're getting in.
They're getting in more now. Yeah, and even if they're dipping their toes in, it's not a problem. It's just their mindset. If they get in and they really understand the asset and they're cool with it dropping 50% because they're going to keep buying more, it's not a problem. It's just the people that bought in now and are going to get loud about the fact that Bitcoin was a scam and now they're down 50% more than they were already. And so I don't want them to think about it like that, because it's not a question of Bitcoin. It's a question of like, hey, you're an investor. Look at your investments and what's a good choice.
Right. Right. It's very interesting. It's very interesting. You know, I think for what I have, I think my average price is around $52,000.
All right.
So I'm up 100%.
There you go.
Right. So if we see it back off 30%, I don't really care. It'll give me an opportunity to buy more. Right. I mean, I continue even up here. I'll buy just less of it because it's at a higher price, right? But like anything, you want to see it come down because I'll take advantage and I'll end up buying more of the dips. Yeah, so I'm with you. I'm kind of hoping it dips because like everything, you never own enough, right? And so when it dips, you get a chance to buy more. Okay, so look, there's all this noise in the crypto space, right? Everything from meme coins to speculative tokens. And so how do people cut through that noise, right? What should they know? Speculative coins are just I don't play in the speculative coin market.
Yeah.
And I would imagine that you would tell people, don't play in it. If you're gonna be in this space, this is where you should be.
I think, and I keep saying this because I think it's important, and we have a few people on our shows who I really respect, and it's because they have an idea that they really believe in, and at certain points they press the gas and they go hard. There's a few people, Darkside's one of them, where he gets an idea, he thinks it's important at a certain period of time because we're right in the market, and he really pushes the gas. So for me, we've got a lot of attention on Bitcoin. It's important to me that people really understand that there's a difference between Bitcoin and crypto. And the reason it's important is because the crypto folks, not all of them, but the crypto folks tend to fall in the swaths of I need to make money now.
Right.
The Bitcoin folks say, hey, I've got money, I'd like to not lose it. That's the two groups of people. Yeah. And so because this crew is more, the crypto crowd is more in the line of I want to make money today, this cycle.
It's more of a trade, more of a trader mentality.
Right.
It's more of an investment.
And so if you're going to be in the crypto trading world, just understand if you're going to play with Trump coin, you need to learn how to trade and learn TA. It has nothing to do with Trump, or if you trade Melania token or Dogecoin, it doesn't matter what the token is. If you don't know TA, you'll get wrecked. And I know so many traders who absolutely cooked retail the last couple of years because they didn't know what they're doing, and they did. Yeah. And that's the problem.
No, and I agree. Look, I
don't know.
I think it's a fascinating conversation, right? I think that's going to be the conversation for the next time because we're running out of time.
Sure.
But I want to thank you for coming in and spending the time. It's been a pleasure, and I really look forward to doing this again because I'm following you all the way. In the meantime, it's time to bring in the food. So I'm gonna give you jamborta tonight. Now jamborta